ክቡራትና ክቡራን እንኳን በሰላም አላህ አገናኘን እያልኩ ከሰላምታ በመቀጠል አገራችንን አማን ኢትዮጵያ ሰላም አላህ አድርግልን። ሌቱንም ቀኑን አማን አድርጎ ያን ድርሻ ሸቲያን ላሙተት አላህ አድርገን አገራችን አማን ነው ኢትዮጵያ አንድ ላይ እንደዚህ ተዋደንና ተፋቅረን እንበላ አላህ ያርግልን ብዬ ጸሎቴን እጨርሳለሁ። አመሰግናለሁ።
መገኖ techo barra il shonto magano ya galatilo Ethiopia go banki kerasi bushate holi bagado badera koli bushare danna konni sabsavano kerunni bekina mora wo mante go bade no magano keras go bate kera bo bagado go bara kolo ola holo go batenni afo arrawatado Ethiopia dagara afo arrawatado keraso muje konni bushode danchadiro ikonke kun wo munkura Kero aso teche sipsa konne kerunne salame aso gobage oge otes.
No fulcha. Rabbi nagan no bulche nagan no aulchu. Haman gargar no aulchu. Biya nagan no agod. Ethiopia tenya olinu abulchu. Biya nagan no atau. Nagenya umtu anaga gaunjiru nagenya kana. Rabbi nurratte irrafatu. ولين وابلشو ولين علاتو ولين باسين واقلشو أن الرتم رب التاغوت
نقولين أننا كذي دشويتون دمبامتون كذي يرشكو أوجبه أمين أكتر أمين بدو يرش قلت هو بده نو تاتون يردقيبه نو شوون يردقيبه نو علمو نو آگتون يردقيبه كارون شنونا شدبه iriteeton irtoocha kichibe no aatoch non salamon wochibe no taato diggabe hin mon qannay no in tobo no qannat fite ministero okcha gallete one galleto naado yerchi bada no bulchon diggoto ne ba
Let me join my brother to thank the Ministry of Justice and the partners for bringing us together, bringing together policymakers, justice practitioners, traditional leaders, and development partners from across our continent to exchange experiences and build networks and collaborations. Long before modern courts and bureaucracies, communities relied on elders, on religious leaders, and on customary councils to settle disputes, restore relationships, and maintain peace. These systems are not relics. In many countries today, as was said by my brother, the majority of everyday conflicts over land, family matters, and local tensions are resolved through customary mechanisms. That enduring reality matters because it shapes how millions of people actually experience justice every day in our continent. The strength of these mechanisms lies in their proximity and their social legitimacy. They are accessible where formal courts are distant or expensive. They emphasize reconciliation and social repair rather than punitive isolation, and they draw on shared norms and practices to restore trust after a breach. In Ethiopia, as we witnessed coming in, Ethiopia, which is home to more than 120 million people, mediation traditions, such as we witnessed during our coming in this morning, have long held communities together and built social cohesion across groups. Elsewhere across Africa, systems like Liberia's Palava Hut and those described by my brother from Nigeria remain deeply trusted, with estimates in some contexts showing over 90% of our people rely on these dispute resolution mechanisms. However, we must avoid romanticizing these systems. Traditional mechanisms can and do deliver swift, culturally rooted justice, but they also have limitations that require honest attention, and that is the basis for this conversation in the next 2 days. Procedural safeguards are often absent, decisions may lack written records, formal appeal routes are non-existent or impartial adjudication, women, youth, persons with disabilities, and marginalized groups can be easily excluded from decision making or receive outcomes that perpetuate inequality, especially in matters of inheritance, land, and family law. Customary practices can be captured by local power holders, producing outcomes that reflect status rather than fairness. And when serious crimes occur, these mechanisms are not always equipped to protect victims, apply consistent standards, or meet international human rights obligations. These are not abstract concerns. They affect livelihoods, safety, and long-term social cohesion, and they must guide our reform efforts in our deliberations in the next 2 days. That realism does not weaken the case for engaging with traditional systems. It strengthens it. When thoughtfully linked with formal institutions, customary mechanisms can expand access to justice, improve procedural fairness, and reinforce protections for vulnerable groups. Achieving this requires frameworks that recognize traditional authorities while setting clear standards, some of which my brother spoke about: transparency, inclusivity, documentation in alignment with national law and human rights norms. It also means investing in capacity building for elders, for community mediators, for paralegals, and for local courts, so that customary decisions are more consistent, accountable, and protective of basic rights. Traditional dispute resolution mechanisms can make a direct and vital contribution also to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. By preventing and resolving local conflicts early, these mechanisms reduce violence, relieve pressure on formal courts, and foster social cohesion and trust, key drivers of stability and effective governance. Goal 16. When reformed and supported, they help deliver access to justice for the many who rely on them, strengthen local accountability, and build the social foundation for strong institutions. Beyond Goal 16, customary mechanisms contribute across the SDG agenda. Timely resolution of land and family disputes support food security and livelihoods, which is Goal 1 and Goal 2. Inclusive processes can advance gender equality, which is Goal 5, and reduce inequality, Goal 10, and stronger local dispute resolution supports safe, resilient communities, Goal 11. Integrating traditional mechanisms into national strategies also advances partnership, which is Goal 17, mobilizing state-community cooperation and improving data and learning from development outcomes. Inclusion must be central. Women, youth, persons with disabilities, and minority groups should not be passive beneficiaries. They must participate as decision makers and trusted actors in dispute resolution. Evidence shows that inclusive processes yield more durable peace and better compliance with agreements. Regional cooperation, peer learning, and data-driven evaluation are essential so successful models can be adopted, scaled, and improved. The United Nations Development Programme is committed to supporting governments and communities in strengthening these linkages, helping traditional mechanisms deliver restorative justice without compromising rights, and helping formal systems become more accessible and more responsive. Together, we can design approaches that honor local traditions while ensuring fairness, protection, and sustainability. I look forward to our conversation here, to the ideas you will share, to the partnership we will build